Better to die on your feet than to live on your knees. Madam Toastmaster, ladies and gentlemen, those immortal lyrics were recorded by Peter Garrett and Midnight Oil back in 1982. Those lyrics, those powerful lyrics, were from the album 10 to 1, or 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which is a reference to the launching of nuclear weapons. And this is a theme that will come up again and again in my talk tonight, and it's a recurring theme of Peter Garrett's public life. What I'll argue tonight is that Peter Garrett has quite strong ideals, very strong ideals, and what I'll question is whether he still has those strong ideals. Like him or not, whether you agree with his politics or not, I believe that Peter Garrett is a very, quite a unique public figure. So, let me start off by going back to the start of the band in the late 70s. Peter Garrett joined a band called The Farm, and he instantly changed the whole direction of that band. He changed the musical side of it, and he gave it a much more political, anti-establishment edge. He was influenced very strongly by bands like the Sex Pistols, who were fiercely independent and I guess very anti-establishment. At this time, I was a teenager, and I heard some of the lyrics and saw the amazing figure that Peter Garrett cut on the TV, and I at the time was running against my own powers that be, although on a much smaller scale. I was trying to find my space and argue against the rules that my parents imposed. So I felt that this music was very relevant to the sort of things that I was going through, but in a quite different way. So if we jump forward to 1982, they released their groundbreaking 10 to 1 album, considered by some to be in the top 100 albums of all time. And they became very popular. They started touring and getting a lot of airplay. But 1984 is the key year. 1984 is the big year for Peter Garrett, when him as a music man collided with the world of politics and the practical realities of working in the field of politics. So it's true that he joined the Labor Party just a few years ago, but his dalliance with politics goes way back, 25 years or more. In that year, they released their album Red Sails in the Sunset, which is very popular, but he also joined the Nuclear Disarmament Party. And the reason he did this was that, one, Ronald Reagan had come into power and there was a real threat of nuclear destruction. And two, he just went to Japan with his girlfriend and he went to the site of where the atomic bomb was dropped, or one of the atomic bombs was dropped in the Second World War, Hiroshima. So he came back and he tried to get a seat in the Senate, and he narrowly missed out. And within his popularity was the seeds of the problems in this political party. Someone else felt that his power was being drawn away from him by Peter Garrett, and he formed an alliance with the socialist Trotskyists, and they voted as a bloc, and him and some other people could no longer get their voices heard, and became an undemocratic party, so he left. Now if I jump forward several years, if I jump forward to the election of 2007, I think a lot of people were wondering how someone with such strong ideals and such strong beliefs would be able to cope with the pragmatism of being in a large or a major political party. And this is where the media really latched onto the differences between what he lived in the party and what he said, and the lyrics that he'd sung in the past. So people were asking, you've sung US forces give the nod it's a setback for your country? Do you believe in the US alliance? How can you reconcile those two things? Are you going to speak out against the US alliance? What about uranium mining? Are you going to speak out against that? It's been a passion of yours for many years. And I think the media almost relish this opportunity to point out the gaps between his ideals, as sung in his lyrics, and the way he lived in the public life of the political party. And there was inevitable disappointment. I myself was slightly disappointed, but if I was introspective, I realised, what had I ever done to push my own ideals? Had I ever created a band and tried to push all these incredible ideals? Had I ever sung a song about asbestos victims or the environment? I hadn't. So my final question to you is, would you rather your leaders you had leaders that transgressed their ideals, or have leaders that never had any ideas in the first place? Thank you very much.